what advice would you give a team, a co-founding group, or an entrepreneur looking for a co-founder before they even, jump into this journey?
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good question. So I think it starts with your core values and making sure that you understand what you firmly believe in and what you don't believe in. Because if you can't articulate that clearly, it's going to be very hard, not just to find a potential co-founder, but really to even make solid hiring decisions. We live and die by our core values at UrbanBound and at Hireology. And it's something that Jeff and I were very aligned with out of the gate, something that me, Jeff, and Adam were very aligned with out of the gate. And I think it's actually imperative. If you can't articulate what those are, you're going to really struggle. And frankly, to your point, you're probably opening yourself up to a lot more risk that that partnership isn't going to be fruitful. So we've always used a system that sort of helps you articulate what you're trying to build right out of the gate. Even before we had a product, even before we had a customer, we were already working within the system. So the system we've been using it's called EOS, Entrepreneur's Operating System. There's a really great book written by Gino Wickman called Traction, which gives you a good lay of the land. And it's a very approachable, there's so many different types of business books out there, some that are very academic and you totally agree with what it's saying, but there's not a lot of, meat behind it as far as like how to implement. Traction is not that type of book. Traction is the type of a book that really gives you the tools that you need in order to be able to actually implement what it's talking about. And one of the core artifacts that you use in the Traction world is known as your VTO, or Vision/Traction Organizer. And it's meant to be kind of I guess technically a 2-page document, front and back. It would, one piece of paper, where at the beginning you're sort of articulating the big vision. That's the vision side of it. So you're laying out your core values, you're laying out your purpose. Why do you exist? Why does the world care about what you're doing? You talk about your marketing strategy by defining who is your ideal customer, what makes you unique in the market. Then you're laying out your 5 or 10-year horizon for where you think this thing could go in that window of time. And other systems call that the BHAG, or your big, hairy, audacious goal. And Traction, I think it's just your 5-year plan or something. It's more specific. And then it starts to come closer and closer to the here and the now. So the last thing on the vision page is your 3-year vision, where you're now starting to articulate something that, it's still a few years out, but you can sort of see how you would get to that size where you're defining revenue and customers and how many employees you have, and maybe even describing things like what is your office environment like. And then on the Traction side is where you really start to set, what nearly all businesses do, which is what is your 1-year plan, what's your Q1, Q1 or whatever quarter you're in plan, and then you identify issues that you need. So using that kind of structure, we started both Hireology and UrbanBound with that already completed. And it's an organic document. It's not like it's something that stays in time and you're just like, oh no, we got to go back to the vision from 7-8 years ago. You're always changing it. And over time, your leadership team and your whole company is helping to contribute to what is actually on that document. So your business continues to evolve. But I think that's getting that down and on paper early on in this process has been, in my opinion, one of the game-changing ways that we've been able to kind of set ourselves up to have a higher probability of success, before we even raised our first dollar.